Ladies and gents, welcome back. Wow, so many of you already in the chat hanging out. Look at this. For those of you that are tuning in live, welcome. And for those of you that are watching this back later, this is the live show. You're watching it back as the long form content, but this is the Friday night show. This is the Friday Night Live where I talk about all the things that I couldn't get to throughout the entire week. So there is a whole chunk of time through the week that I put out videos in the morning, as much as I can do before I head off to work. It's getting tougher. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not complaining. It's just getting tougher to go to bed really early because the sun's out so late. And yeah, I'm going to bed when the sun's still out, and I'm like closing my eyes, going, hey, I'm gonna wake up at 4 a.m. And it's hard. So I've been waking up closer to 5 a.m. these days. But hey, getting those stories put together as much as I can and getting them out there because people need to know about what's happening. There's you got your horrible mainstream news media, and then you've got a few other sources. And well, this is something that I'm very passionate about. So I bring the stories to people in as much capacity that I possibly can. That being a dad and having a full-time job as a mechanic and keeping the gears turning. That's how society works. Not in the eyes of some people. Some people just don't know how the the foundation of society is held together. They want you all to eat bugs. They have no idea what's going on there, or they complain when they hear horns honking. They just don't appreciate what goes into actually getting the world turning. That was my phone. Why was it beeping at me? Oh, because my charger is doing this weird thing where it's intermittently charging. But hey, member for 2 months, Joe Lemon, getting in there. Let's go. Thank you for wanting up your membership. Just so you guys know, memberships are a thing on YouTube where you can donate to the channel and become a member. There's some perks, and we're going to work on the perks. There's not much for perks just yet, but we're going to work on the perks. There's Discord integration, which is something I'm meaning to work on very soon, but making an entirely separate role for people who are members on the YouTube channel. So, hey, if that's something that you're interested in, hey, why don't you jump in there and get up on in that? So anyway, let's get into this. So it's been a heck of a week. Cody E, welcome. You did something. Thank you so much. Welcome to the membership of the channel. We'll get that. We'll get things sorted for you soon enough. We'll get that happening. Good evening, Mr. Clyde. Hello from Vancouver Island. There is so many people from Vancouver Island. I feel sorry for people. I honestly, I would live there. It's beautiful. If it weren't for the communist boat company called the government that runs the ferry service, unbelievably horrible ferry service going. You wouldn't know that if you didn't live elsewhere and see ferries that work in a normal function. But the only way to Vancouver Island, for those that don't know, and for those that are not familiar with the geography of the region, I live on the mainland in British Columbia, and people on the island have to take the ferries, and it's run by the government, and just like anything run by the government, it's run by the government. So you're SOL if you don't make your ferry. You might not get home, kind of thing. So, and not only that, it's ridiculously expensive. Hello from Newfoundland. Hello. We have a hard time. I really wanted to. I love the island. I would consider the island, but I think if the ferry was better, it would be more expensive on the island. Let's not kid ourselves. But that's northern BC. Whoa, T-Man. Yeah, lots of awesome places way up north. Lots of bugs too. Holy cow. BC have 60% homeless rate now. Nice place to live. Lol. Yeah, well, the reason why there's so many homeless is because it's the only place you can survive in the winter as a homeless person. I mean, if you had nothing else to do because you couldn't, So there are some people I feel sorry for because they have mental trouble, and we've really failed them as a society. As for the drug problem, we've failed on a number of reasons there, but I feel less sorry for people with the drug problem than I do for the people with the mental problem. I do feel sorry for people with drug issues, don't get me wrong, but holy cow, we failed them. But I see I'm getting sidetracked all over again. I just wanted to say I love the island, but the ferries suck. I lived in Japan for a time, and my first experience on a ferry in Japan, I was going from Kagoshima to Yakushima. It's this little tiny. Kagoshima is like, is the southern part of Japan. There's this little tiny island called Yakushima that you catch a ferry to get to, and it's pretty far. It's like, I can't remember how many hours. It was far to get this ferry, and then you get out there, and it's like a 100-kilometer circumference island. It's a tiny little island in the middle of the ocean. Really, really cool place to be. And the wife and I, we visited there before we had kids, and it was beautiful. But anyway, the moral of the story here is we took a ferry, and there was options. Here's the deal. We were cheap. We were super cheap, so we just wanted to get there. So we got a ferry, and it was like dirt cheap. It was like hardly any money at all. But when we went on, it smelled like cattle. Like they were moving livestock on this thing and stuff. And whatever, that's not a bad problem. That's not a big deal because the price was so little. But they had all kinds of different tiers with the ferry company, or the ferry companies. And essentially you could take the cattle car, which is what we did, and the livestock ferry. It was funny. It was fine though. But you could take the livestock ferry, or you could get like a normal ferry, or you could get even the most luxurious one where you drive into you have a room. You drive in, and then an exhaust fan sucks all the exhaust out and then re-air conditions the air, whether you need it heated or you need it cooled in the summer. And then it's a beautiful thing with room service. It's a room with a bed, and it's like a hotel room that you drive into. That is the kind of thing you get from the free market. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the ferry company, BC Ferries, which at GM Place, you go see a hockey game. They have BC Ferries advertisements everywhere, and it costs them in the millions of dollars. This is how our government runs crown corporations, because the motto of the company should be, because you don't have any other choice. I mean, it might as well be. Why do you have advertisements for a ferry service to an island when it's your only choice? It's your only choice. It shouldn't say anything, but if you want to go to the island, it's just, yeah, there you go. BC Ferries, does not need adverts. No, BC Ferries does not need adverts. No, but they spend money in the millions of dollars at venues to advertise ferries. Anyway, I need to catch up on the chat here. Tammy Juvenville, thank you for the super chat. I'll catch the replay. Busy tonight. Wanted to pop in and say thanks from Windsor, Ontario. That's where I grew up. Wow, good old Windsor, Ontario. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. Where was I? Yeah, I was ranting about BC Ferries. I love the island. Every time I go there, it's so beautiful. But yeah, Vancouver sucks. Vancouver proper sucks. British Columbia is great. Yeah, BC equals British Columbia. Sorry about that, Primark. Sometimes I forget to give the acronyms, but yes, acronyms. Okay, just a heads up. I have a fan going in the background. It's an air conditioner. If it gets too loud, let me know in the chat. Because I'll turn it off. But it's getting warm. It's getting warm. It's getting hot. The globe's warming. It's or is it? But so how was your day, Clyde? My day was great. I got off work early, and I did some running around because tomorrow we're going camping. I know. Everyone is going to the protests But I had this camping trip planned. My son and daughter and wife have been looking forward to this for so long. And I'm actually going with another freedom fighter, one of my friends, good friend, who was at the Freedom Convoy in Ottawa. And yeah, he went there as backup. He not a trucker mechanic. Even better. Well, not even better. All good is what I'm saying. But my daughter was asking me this morning. She's like, well, why do you go if he's not a trucker? I'm like, well, he's a mechanic. He's there to fix the trucks if they ever broke down. Keep those truckers warm. That's what it's all about. Yeah, you need to have a contingency plan. Bella, I'm from Windsor also. Awesome. Windsor on terrible. Yeah, it's so hot there. I was happy to get out. British Columbia, a little bit more mild when it comes to the weather systems out here. Unfortunately, we get fire bans like so quick though, and we can't have open fires. I do miss that about Ontario, especially Windsor. A lot of friends of mine just just have a fire in the backyard. That was the way we rolled back then. But that's how it was. Hello from Cape Breton Island. That's one place that I have on my bucket list. I have to go visit there. I've seen photos. It was so beautiful. But yeah, I've never been. I caught Clyde live. Jeep Talk Show. Welcome. Tony, my man. It's been forever. I haven't talked to you in ages. Uncle V, Clyde, what is your last name? Are you related to the Vidicans? I'm not related to the Vidicans. I don't know if my last name is public just yet. I'm gonna keep that one on the DL is for the meantime. It will get out there eventually. But that's just one of those things. Especially as things start growing. And let's talk about some of the growth here. Hit a couple of milestones recently. So one is on Twitter. Got to 2,000 followers. Whoa! That's awesome. I'm actually kind of proud of that. Just started this Twitter not too long ago. Kept everything on the DL, but really exploded when started posting a lot when I started doing all this news coverage. And yeah, awesome. Really cool. The Twitter growth is a little different than YouTube growth, obviously. But yeah, pretty stoked to hit 2,000. But I always keep that invitation out there. I keep posting every once in a while. Anyone who's on the platform that wants to be part of the conversation, let me know so I can follow you. Because I don't just go randomly following everybody. But if you want me to follow you and you want the conversation to be a two-way conversation instead of just a one-way thing, Twitter is a place to do that. And I'll give you a follow. Just got to let me know that that's what you like. I'm easy. So yeah, and if you're not part of Twitter yet, get on there. It is so toxic and funny. I'm not kidding. It is really toxic. But if you got the stomach for it, it's a great place to hang out. Because you can have some real fun over there. Toads McFresh, welcome to membership. Again, like I said, we're going to be working on some integration in the Discord. And if you're not part of the Discord, the link is in the description down below in the description of this live stream, as well as the description of every video that I put out. It's an open invite for anyone who wants to join join me on Twitter, but join the Discord. And every live stream, at the end of the live stream, I go into the Discord and we all hang out. And I get to hear from you guys, and it's a lot of fun. I have a bunch of wobbly pops, and then call it a night. But that's usually how Friday nights end. But that's the thing. Newfoundland is beautiful. That's what I keep hearing. I've never been to the Maritimes, even though I grew up in Ontario. But yeah, I never went all the way out that way. I went the other way. Went all the way to the other coast. That's how it happened. And I went past, and I lived in Japan for a while, but then I came back. That's definitely how it went down. But what are some of the other milestones from recent times? Well, we just hit 88,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. You guys are the craziest. You guys are awesome. Holy cow. Just such a vibrant audience, such a vibrant community going on here. And I really appreciate it. For anyone who doesn't know, we have the communities tab where I post memes. A lot of these memes I get from the Discord or find them elsewhere or whatever, but or make them myself. But this is the communities tab. This is where a lot of the daily stuff during the day gets posted, whether you're following. Well, you don't have to subscribe specifically to that. If you subscribe to the channel, this is something that pops up as well. I think I might start doing updates for just members. I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there. The membership, because there's a lot of people that are signing up for the memberships, and I do want to show my appreciation for everyone that does that, and show you that I care. But hey, that has been the week here. So what's been going on in Canada? What has been going on in Canada? Well, let's get to some of the funny stuff that I found on the internet. We all know that Justin Trudeau did his trip. I need to pop that bag open again because this kind of ties into that. It cracks me up. I can't see this photo and not just crack up. He looks like such a tard. Like, I'm sorry if that offends people. But yeah. Oh God. So that's a thing. But let's check out that communities tab, because there was I'll pop that there. Anyway, Trudeau did his trip to. I find that funny. I have a better barber than him. Oh, that's too funny. I heard so many jokes about that. Like, what happens when you when you fire? Or I guess his barber got fired for not being vaccinated or something like that. Awesome jokes coming out of Twitter over that one. But this was the experience for people. When Justin Trudeau is perusing around British Columbia trying to show people how much of a good time he's having. But look at these are his photographers and his staff. That's the look on their face. Guilty Gear Strive is trending. I still yet to play that game. If you're into the fighting game genre, maybe we should start like a fighting game genre thing in the Discord for people who are into that. I love Street Fighter. I play Street Fighter a lot. It's my cup of tea. If that's your thing, let me know, because I'm always looking for people to play with, but I just never have time anymore. or people that play as well. Isn't that his son? Embarrassed. That's not his son. That's his personal photographer, which is really interesting, because it's the same guy that was spotted photographing the broken cross symbol flag that showed up in Ottawa when the Freedom Convoy just rolled in. Remember that one flag that showed up and then was gone immediately after, but got a whole lot of high quality photographs of it? Well, people got photographs of the person photographing it, and it was that guy right there. Or it appears to be that guy. Allegedly is that guy. Allegedly. Those are those allegations that are out there. just saying. But yeah, Trudeau with his that photo. Oh God. But that photo quickly got turned into memes, fake headlines. Sun News. Critics say Trudeau took role-playing too far at special needs school visit. Trudeau is known for dressing up at special events, but some parents are questioning his motives at a recent visit. Maybe that's in bad taste. I don't know. Either way, he looks like he looks like Pee Wee Herman or Lloyd Christmas. That's what a lot of people are comparing him to. But I digress. Let's get into some of the stuff that's been happening this week. I posted this one this morning. I don't know how many of you guys got this video in your feed. Actually, it'd be nice to have a little show of hands in the chat. How many people are actually getting my videos in their feed? Because I've been getting mixed reports, and I've been getting a report from people that, wait for it, what is it? Have been unsubscribed, somehow mysteriously unsubscribed to the channel. I've heard about this happening before to other channels. I don't know how it works. I've never experienced it myself. I've never witnessed it or noticed it. But some people, it's been happening to. They've been getting unsubscribed to the channel. So that's a thing. That's a thing. We'll see how that goes. I always get them. Got it. I'm guessing everyone that's in the live stream got it because you're still getting it. I watch on Rumble and always get the notifications. Nice. Nice. Let's not forget Joe got cancer now. I saw that. I don't know if I have a clip. If somebody in the Discord put that clip in the general chat, and I'll pop it up if someone has the clip of Joe saying that he got cancer. God, it's bad. It's bad. The stuff that comes out of that guy's mouth. Yeah, definitely not all there, not fully coherent. I hear people are talking about they're asking Buttigieg. I didn't know his nickname was Butt Plug. I did not know that. But yeah, when Butt Plug is trending on Twitter, it's almost time to realize you had enough internet for the day. Or they're talking about Mike Buttigieg, apparently. I'm subscribed, but I don't follow, just watch frequently. Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, glad to have you here. Look up Memology 101 has the clip. Oh, somebody's got it. Oh yeah, somebody already put it in there. So let's have a gander at this here clip. I gotta change it from light mode. Who does light mode these days? Wow. This is gonna be
my mother drove us
loud, is it not?
rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost.
I'm not hearing it.
You know what was happening? You had to put on their windshield wipers.
Oh, it's just really, really quiet. Why is that so quiet?
To get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer, and why I can't for the longest time.
Oh no! Why is the clip so quiet?
Cancer rate in the nation. But that's the past, and we're gonna. And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than
Can you hear
us
it?
be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what?
Oh, let's manipulate this. Let's mess with the audio so we can get this louder. I'm gonna crank this, see if it works.
What's happening? You had to put on their windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window.
There we go.
That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer, and why I can't for the longest time. Delaware had.
That's why, and so many people I grew up with have cancer.
Literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer, and why I can't for the longest time. Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
Do you think he actually? No, I don't think he actually said that. It's yeah. I know he actually said that, but I don't think he actually meant that. Like that's just the thing. So, but that's Joe Biden saying that he had the big C. I don't believe it. The guy's just so used to lying. he said he was like valedictorian or something of his university. And it turns out he said that he had like straight A's, top of his class, and he was like at best a C student. Yeah, he clearly said that. But maybe brain cancer. Soft taco, what? Who wrote that for him? Oh, that's it, right? The guy, he's got the big C. The big coof. Yeah, no, he got that big C. But yeah, we'll see how he handles having both cancer and the goof. Unreal. He had skin cancer. Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay. So I and so many other people had cancer. So maybe that was what he was referring to. But that's what happens when he goes off script. Exactly. But here, this one gets me because this is just pure evil incarnate. Well, before I get to evil, let's talk about something evil. Max Power with a $27.99. Interesting number with the super chats. I think that's an iPhone thing, isn't it? But 28's and okay. Biden does have the big C creep. He's a creep, straight up sniffing his way to the White House. Happy Friday, hyped for the TMNT, brother. Enjoy your weekend. Okay, so here's a little inside baseball. So Max Power is in fact Derek, the writer of the one and only. And I got my signed copy right here. How the Prime Minister Stole Freedom. Well, Derek Smith is a avid arcade guy. Has an arcade in his home and all that stuff. And I grew up in that era. And I remember banging on them sticks at the arcade, and that was my jam. One of my jams was Turtles in Time. That was one of my favorites, my go-to, because you could have 4 players, and it was a really fun game. And I watched all the cartoons, and I even had the rap album on cassette. My copy is due any minute. Nice. Get your copies of that book. I finally got a signed copy. Not only that, this is Derek giving me all the goodies. I got me a hoodie. I haven't even pulled this out yet. And no, I'm not gonna try it on because it's hot. It's hot. Look at that. Whoa. Signed copy of the book and unacceptable fringe. Oh, that's too good. This is an extra large, so I'm gonna be swimming in it. It's gonna be like pajamas for me. That's how I roll, I guess. That's how I roll. I got a bunch of other things too. I might as well show you some of the reading I have to do coming up, because I bought a few books. I really wanted to read this. This is How to Lie with Statistics, because Know Thy Enemy. This is, yeah, exactly. A great introduction to the use of statistics and a great refresher to anyone who's already well versed in it. Bill Gates. How to Lie with Statistics. Know Thy Enemy. Honestly. But what else do we have here? Eyewitness to Deceit, PM Trudeau's Infowar on Freedom Convoy 2022 by Tom McQuinn with Rick Gill. That is this book here, and I'm going to be reading this. I'm not sure which one I want to read first. This one or one of the other ones. I got this one here. This is a really good read. Why Trudeau is a great leader and deserves respect. It's really clear in the book why. Lays it out perfectly. It's a very articulate case brought forward for precisely why Trudeau is a great leader and deserves our respect. So I made sure to get that copy. That was an intense read. That one right there. I just did it again. Did you see that? And then I have another book. I'll take 10. I actually bought 2. I bought one for the Snap-on truck. It's going to be going around in the Snap-on truck. I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Lots of greasy fingerprints on it. I've got another one. got another one here, and this is Andrew Lawton's book, The Freedom Convoy, the inside story of 3 weeks that shook the world. So that is something that I have on my list. I got a lot on my list, and it's tough because for you guys maybe that are familiar with the channel, you are watching the dyslexic news. Like, I'm a dyslexic mechanic that decided to take up telling people about what's going on in our country and around the world. So that is the life I lead, and this is the cause you follow. But hey, why not? Loads of fish flies out. Like it or not, 8 bugs. Oh, nice. I remember the fish flies in Ontario. I remember the fish flies. You can't drive your car without hearing them popping under the wheels. It's great. No, you're great, G-Meister. You're great. So you read much. Yeah, well, I read whenever I can. And if I'm not reading books, I'll do audiobooks. Audiobooks are definitely a way to go, especially for some of the more intense reads. Like I said, having dyslexia is a tough one, but knowing you have it is more helpful. The school system when I was growing up did not aid me in figuring that out. I had to figure that out as an adult. That was unfortunate because I probably would have done better in school. Not that I wouldn't have become a mechanic because I really like my profession. But who knows? Who knows? Max Power again with a $6.99 super chat. People get those hoodies, other shorts, and cool stuff at my store. I'll post the link if that's okay. Yeah, just post the link in there. Get people over there and get some of that merch. Get some of that merch. You need to get hats. That might be a thing. Or maybe you already do. I'm not sure. Check that out after. I will check that out after. But let's get into some evil because I really wanted to discuss this because it is just disgusting. I don't even know what to say about that. Well, I do know what to say about this, but I think it's really crazy. Mechanics love with their brains first and hands second. We love you, mechanics. Yeah. Well, mechanics, we do what we do. We do what we do. And people, it's so funny because there's such I know people, like a lot of people in this chat and stuff, they realize are blue collar workers and people at the base. And I'm not saying base as in like the foundation of society understand what mechanics do and what it is that we take on every day. But you get these white collar workers that think that it's a thing that only goobers do, like dummies are mechanics. Yeah, not anymore. Cars are pretty sophisticated these days, and not a lot of goobers can keep up with it. A lot of them flunk out and then can't get certified. But there are goobers that do try, but they're the ones that say things like, "My welds aren't pretty, but they're strong." Well, pretty welds are strong, are the strongest. Just stuff like that. I'm a mechanic, but electrical is not my strong suit. Well, it needs to be, at least anymore. That's just the way it is. So yeah, no, mechanics. Yeah, it takes a lot more smarts than people let it on to be. It's a thing, and I'm not patting myself on the back. It's just mechanics have never been dumb people. No, I don't think so. But I mean, it was an easier profession a lot of years ago. But yeah, it's changed. Easier in some ways, though. I know some old guys that tune carburetors and don't even want to get into that. They don't even train people to do that anymore. But again, I keep getting sidetracked. I wanted to show you pure evil. And here it is. Pure evil. And this is coming from our institutions, Oxford to be exact. But this is the opinion that these that these people have. You can have a lot of smarts, but be a total idiot. Let's just put it that way. Let's get this off to the side. For those of you that are wondering why I'm rubbernecking all the time, I finally got another cam going here, and you can see exactly what's going on. There's so much happening here, but this is why I'm rubbernecking all the time looking at these things. But here we go. This is evil incarnate right here.
This country, George, there's a big emphasis on agriculture and how agriculture needs to cut its emissions. And I know it's an issue you feel very strongly about. You've said that agriculture is arguably the most destructive industry on earth. Explain, and do you still believe that, George?
It's by far and away the greatest cause of habitat destruction, the greatest cause of wildlife loss, the greatest cause of extinction, greatest cause of soil loss, greatest source of freshwater use. It's one of the greatest causes of climate breakdown, bigger than transport, one of the primary causes of water pollution and of air pollution. So it's right at the top. Oh, and sorry, I forgot to say land use, the biggest issue of all. It's by far and away the greatest form of land use that humans inflict on the planet, which means all that land is land which can't be used for wild ecosystems. And well,
you notice I don't say what this guy's a professor of. Land use? I mean, come on. Look at Canada. There's not a lot of land use going on.
Obviously, we need farming. We need to minimize those impacts. We need to act as drastically within that sector as any other sector to prevent the collapse of our life support systems. And what that means, above all else, is getting out of livestock farming, is really shutting down animal farming altogether, because that has massively disproportionate impacts on the living planet. And we need to switch towards other sources of food, plant-based diets, which are far more efficient, far lower environmental impacts, but also switch out of farming altogether to produce protein-rich foods.
Sorry, when he's emphasizing the I just almost blurted out what first came to mind when he was saying that.
Which we can do through precision fermentation, brewing
George,
microbes.
I can hear farmers all over this small country of ours shocked and perhaps screaming at their televisions because they're saying, are you saying all animal farming, in your opinion?
No, that's not what they're saying. They're saying this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's not how it works. It's not what's going on. Now, I'll let it play out, but it's just
really needs
nuts.
to stop.
Yes, it does. It really does. It's a bit like leaving fossil fuels in the ground. Unless we do that, we've really got very little chance indeed of preventing this domino effect of system collapse right across Earth systems, which basically makes the planet uninhabitable. So eating meat and milk and eggs is an indulgence we cannot afford.
Eating meat, milk, and eggs. The reason why a lot of people eat chickens, like in reality, the reason why chickens are such a popular farm animal is because they're very low maintenance. They're very low maintenance. I mean, if you have a chicken farm, like a huge chicken farm, obviously that's huge maintenance. But the reason why it's popular for a lot of like homesteaders and stuff is they're very low maintenance. You feed them, they kind of take care of themselves. You make sure that the place is clean enough, and they taste great. Yeah, taste good. And they produce eggs, lots of eggs, very, very low energy, very low cost to make it happen, and very little effect on the environment. I don't know what this guy's on about. Absolutely just losing his mind, in my opinion. I retweeted this with a quote on it. It said, I'd argue that academia is the most destructive industry on earth. It breeds environmental, like emphasis on mental, death cults like this. This guy, I mean, what's come out of academia in the past while that's been of use to a lot of us, right? Not a lot along the lines of, what came out of academia? Well, Marxism came out of academia and has been festering there ever since. It's led to, at least let's say 100 million dead in the last century. Yeah. What do we got here in the chat? Gender studies. Yeah, that's come out of academia. Globalization's come out of academia. LSD's come out of academia. What else has come out of academia? There's a whole list of trouble and most destructive things. Nukes. Well, that did come out of academia. Pedos and maps. Yep, that's definitely come out of academia. I'm sure you don't have to go to academia to find those, but you'll have to go to academia to find people supporting those. That's definitely a thing. It's branching out of academia now. Thank you, Disney. But yeah, Cotton Schwab. Yeah, the Grand Q-tip himself. MK Ultra, that came out of the CIA. I don't know if that was out of, well, maybe it was out of academia. But yeah, academia, the most destructive industry on earth, probably second to the military industrial complex. So I think this guy's got his head screwed on wrong. I honestly think he's got his head screwed on wrong when the people who make your food are your biggest enemy. I think he should take a stand. Take an absolute stand and stop eating food. show that he'll put his money where his mouth is and just stop eating food or get right on those bugs and living in the pod, because that's what these people are advocating and that's what they deserve. So it's beyond me. It's absolutely beyond me that people have this kind of rhetoric, that farmers need to be put out of business and we need to stop using land for... I gotta find it because somebody replied to me. Yeah, here we go. State of Emergency replies, agricultural land is only 6.5% of total land in Canada. 6.5%. We're using too much Yeah, get out of here. 6.5% of the total land in Canada is agricultural. 93.5% of our land mass is natural ecosystems unchanged for thousands of years. Screw your head on straight. Academics, and this is why I was calling for a separation of academia and state. Because we need a separation, just like we have the separation of church and state. Not that academia can't exist, not that the churches can't exist, not that religious institutions can't exist, but there should be no persuasion from academia, just like there's no persuasion allowed from the churches. You can be religious, you could be a member of an academic institution, but we can't use the academic institutions as a justification for law, because they're clearly compromised in this situation. These are ideologues. These are not people with common sense at their at the helm. What is this? People have lost their minds. Absolutely. I don't think people even realize how big and spread out the earth is. LOL. These little globes don't... What? Those little globes don't do it any justice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the little globes that you get from your local Walmart or whatever. Like the ones that you have in your house, or they have it in class. But no, they don't give it any justice. It's insane. It's absolute insanity. That people just, and they go unchecked. These ideas go unchecked, and that's the whole. Yes, I will get to the Dave Chappelle show. I will get to that. But that's how this goes. Is they go completely unchecked, censor the opposing viewpoint, because that's the scientific way of doing things, right? That's how institutions run. Censor academia, or censor opposing views in academia. Jordan Peterson came out of academia. He came out of academia because of how toxic it is. he's an anomaly. It's there are certain amongst us that just cannot. We're allergic to lies. We're allergic to BS. We're allergic to being like looking at something and saying it's the opposite thing, or even being around it. It's just it triggers a revulsion in a lot of us in the world, and a lot of us are gathering together because it's become so prevalent, this absolute just BS that's going on around our everything. And it's bleeding out of academia, and it's coming into the real world, and it's coming through, you know, all of our social medias. It's coming in through our jobs. It's getting put down your throat by people like this on the news. And it starts in academia. Yeah. It ends up in PR campaigns, and then it goes into politics, and then it ends up getting you fired for saying something on Facebook. You know, that's the reality that people are living right now, and it's absolutely disgusting. I cannot believe it. You mean purely logical and not leftist crazy? That doesn't exist. That doesn't exist anymore. The people in academia that were logical, you know, like, and it sucks because, you know, you've got these people that are on the spectrum, and maybe they just don't get it. Like, you got the James Damores in the world that work for Google, and he's just like, poor guy. Oh, I feel so bad for James Damore, but I really hope he's doing all right. If you don't know the story, James Damore was a guy who worked for Google, and he was an engineer, and he was fantastic at what he does. Probably a little bit on the spectrum, a little bit just like doesn't get the social cues or whatever. Anyway, Google sets out a mission statement in Google. We want to get more engineers. We want to get more women working in Google. We want to get more of this stuff happening. So he's like, he took it to heart. He's like, oh, the company I work for genuinely wants to get more women working here. We would like to get more women working in our organization. Okay, well, I'm going to work on a game plan. So he put together a study on his own time, in his own dime, in his own, when he could have been just watching Netflix or whatever. He gets out there and he's like, no, I'm going to put together a game plan, an action plan on how we can get more women into Google. And he lays it out based on what the women that are employed in Google are doing, how productive they are, how happy they are with their situation, looks at society in general, and looks at where women tend to want to go. He's basing this all based on where women end up because of their ambitions and their choices in life. And he makes this memo and he puts it out internally through Google saying, I've laid it out. The company had a request to get more women. Here's how we can get more women to be interested, because it seems that they're not interested in these positions and these positions. Maybe we can open up more in these fields and stuff. And they lose their mind. They lose their mind on the guy. They they cancel him for being a sexist because he was working hard at what their actual mission statement was. And yeah, maybe he was a little on the spectrum. Maybe he was just like took it all literally, and he's like, okay, well, I'll find a way. You really want me to do this is what we're trying to do as an organization? Well, let's do that. He comes out with an action plan, and they punish the guy for it. They fire him from his job. He can't work there anymore. Probably one of the most apt to the position gets fired to make way for somebody who toes the line, doesn't necessarily have the skills for the job. This is the crazy world that we live in. So yeah, this craziness out of academia is branching out, and it's getting into the rest of society as a whole. Yeah, it starts off tech sector, moves on into whatever, but next thing you know, you got people fired from their job bagging groceries at the grocer because they said something on the internet. Something like something innocuous too, like something just normal, like Only women can have babies. I don't know. That's just a thing that somebody might say. Google overlords that are listening in. That's just something that somebody might say. Like that men don't have babies. I don't know if they have had babies before. I've never heard of it. Never seen it. Don't think that's a thing. Oh, it's crazy. We got the invasion of the body snatchers going on. These no minds that are coming out of academia, and it's sad because we need academia in society. We need higher learning, higher education. We just don't have that because it's been infiltrated by dummies that say dummy stuff like "stop farming." I'm lost. I'm absolutely lost. Roo. Hey, super chat. V Team Paranormal. A big win for Pastor Arthur. Yes. A big win for Pastor Arthur. I never pronounce that right. I always think it's Arthur, but it's Arthur Pavlovsky. And his brother Chris from the Whistle Stop Cafe. Yes, big time. Big win there. I thought I had that in the queue of things to look into here. Do I have it in the queue? Why is that not there? I had that in my things to share. So I'm going to have to pop that up now because we're on the topic. Or before we get to the topic, I really wanted to share a video. But yes, big win for Arthur. He's not being a judge ruled that all of the stuff that they did to him was illegal. And I'll get to that momentarily, but I wanted to get to this video because this needs to be played. And it gives me 58 seconds to go use the washroom really quick because I drank too much water today because it was warm. It was warm outside. That was a thing. I won't even eat tofu. Why? That's sacrosanct in my house. My wife's Japanese, so there's tofu's on the menu. This is the thing. But it's not tofu instead of. You know what I mean? People that eat tofu instead of, that's another game. I don't understand that. Tofu is tofu. It's just like eating beans. Like, it's just another way of eating beans. It's not a replacement for meat. Don't even try that with me. No way. But yeah, tofu's good. There you go. Oh, wild vegan child. Of course you love tofu. Oh, I know. I love tofu as well. It's really good. Japanese know how to cook tofu. They do. Tofu can be good. Most of the time tofu is good is when it's unmolested. It's unadulterated. It's just tofu. Great way to have tofu is just take it out of the water that it comes in, on a plate, put a little soy sauce on top, and then just cut it up and eat it with the rest of your dinner. It's just another thing to have for dinner. It's a side. A great side. Miso tofu. Miso with tofu in it? Yeah, that's really good. What? No furry tofu? I don't know what furry tofu is. Tofu with noodles. Tofu with anything, essentially. No, tofu is garbage for me. What? You haven't had good tofu. That's what I gotta say. No, I will not eat the bugs. Get out of here with your bugs. You can make tofu without bugs. And I'm not stopping eating meat. This is not ever happening. But let's let's get to this video because I want to share this and I really want to go have a wee while I'm sharing this. And then we'll talk about this right after. I'll make sure it's not too loud for everybody.
People being concerned about the gas prices, but what you really need to be concerned about is what your food pricing is about to jump to. Okay?
Be right back.
Calves and babies are just now being born. Keep that in mind. So the cost to raise them hasn't hit yet. This bale of hay last year was $4. Bag of grain last year was $6. This trunk full in here last year would have cost me $14. Today, $20 for a bale of hay, $18 for a bag of grain. I got 2 bales in here. It's $58 worth of food. Just my goats and my horses, 2 days. That's it. Wait until the prices catch up with your slaughter market when we start rendering animals in the fall. Prepare for $17 a pound chicken, $25 a pound bacon, $30, $40 a pound beef. It is coming. It's not a joke. Please be cautious. Please prepare. Stand people being concerned about the gas prices, but what you really need to be concerned about is what your food pricing is about to jump to. Okay?
I'm back.
Calves
Back.
and
Did it
babies
play?
are just now being born.
Oh, okay, it played 12. It played already all the way through. You don't have a yard? I have a yard? I have a yard. I do have a yard. But yeah, so here's the message here. Prepare. 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 It is not going to be pretty when food goes up that much. I'm kind of nervous about the situation of food going up. Cost of living in British Columbia is so high. People are barely able to, what do they say? 30% of your income should be housing. Not a lot of people out here. A lot of people, that is not a true fact. So with I can't afford $30 hay bales. try $30 pieces of chicken. Come on. It is going to go up like crazy. And it's not just going to be, it's not just like the hay is going up. Yeah. And that's, and the feed and stuff like that. But even for vegetarians, it's not like the veggie and bug diet is going to be cheap either. It's all going up. 35%. That's crazy. People need to make friends with local farmers. I'm telling you, you can save a lot that way. You should do. You should go right directly to farmers as much as you possibly can. I was really disappointed when I first came out to British Columbia and they had a farmers market. Because in Windsor, Ontario, there's a big farmers market, and anyone in the chat from Windsor knows about that and knows what I'm talking about. I used to go to it back in the day before the casino made it move to another location. But yeah, because it used to be downtown. I guess now it's over by the bingo in Walkerville. Am I wrong? It's been a long time since I've been to Windsor. But anyway, yeah, farmers market. I come to a farmers market in British Columbia. I'm like, where are all the farmers? It was all hippies selling like hemp and beads. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I can get all the patchouli I want, but I just wanted to get some cheap corn. Like, that was the whole thing. I miss the peaches and cream corn from Ontario, southwestern Ontario. Holy cow. Best corn I've ever had in my life. Great stuff. Green beans, everything out there. So good. But you go to a farmer's market out here and you're like, you can get a painting, you can get beaded necklaces, you can get your dreadlocks manicured, or I don't know. There's all kinds of, it's like, I think they got confused. I was like, where are the farmers? This doesn't feel like a farmer's market. There was a few times where I saw stands where they had the odd, like a bit of, organically grown, whatever, and it's not a huge stand. That's not what farmers markets were for me growing up. Farmers markets were dirty, smelly, but it was, the farmers would rock up and just like, here's all the stuff, and you're like, yeah. And it would always be farm fresh stuff, like cut either the day before or that morning. And yeah, that's when you get it. It's great. It was great. I bought fresh local corn in Eastern Ontario today. Best corn I've ever tasted in my life. And I'd put that to the test. Anyone who says that their corn's better, sure, I'll prove me wrong. I'll enjoy every minute of that. But yeah, so far, Ontario corn has been the best corn I've ever tasted in my life. And I've been around the block. I love corn. Corn is so good. Nothing like corn on the cob. Tell me in the chat, best way to do it, how you like it best. My favorite way to do corn on the cob is soak it in brine and then cook it in the husk on the barbecue, and just let the whole thing just char up, and then take it off. Peach corn? No, it's called peaches and cream. It's a breed of corn when you shuck the husk off of it, the kernels, they're like peach color and cream color. They are alternative, like they alternate. And it's if you do it just right, cook it right in the husk. Obviously with the brine just makes it salty and you hardly need any. Yeah, you hardly need any butter if it's soaked in brine water and then cooked on the barbecue or in a fire or whatever. Clyde, Tabor corn is Canada's best. Where's Tabor? I'll give it a go. I will. Yeah, yellow and white, but it's more of a peach color than yellow. It's not like bright yellow corn. Yeah, it's like peachy and creamy looking. That's why the nickname, peaches and cream. But when you cook it just right, you get that right thing, and each kernel like pops as you bite it. That's the way. That's the best way to have it. If it replaces butter, I don't want it. No. It doesn't replace butter, but you can almost have it without butter. Or if you don't have butter handy, it's still good. But yeah, it just gives it that nice saltiness. Believe me, it's great. Try it. If you don't like it, that's fair. Pronounced Tabor. Tabor. What province is that in? Or is that the type of corn? Tabor, pronounced as a table. Tibber. Clyde, nothing beats actual seawater. Wow, if it's clean seawater. Holy cow, the chat's going now. Alberta. Tabernacle. us Alberta kids. Alberta. Abers in Alberta. Tabor. Okay. I'll give it a go. I'd love to. But the best corn I've ever had was peaches and cream from southwestern Ontario. But that's me. Again, I'll put it to the test. Brine sounds good. I'll try it. Yeah, brine is just salty water. Like not a particular kind of brine. Not like a pickle brine or whatever. Just salty water. Corn in a cup is sweet too. Yeah, corn in a cup's great. My wife makes corn potage, corn soup. It's delish. But anyway, get that corn soon. Or stock up on your canned corn, because it's not going to be cheap moving forward. By the way, if you get Green Giant corn, it's most likely from southwestern Ontario, because it's Tecumseh. Tecumseh is where they can that stuff. Corn and also green beans, and they're just so good. Green beans are so good. Oh, I mean, I also grew up in Windsor. Danielle Droscher. Nice. Yes. Tecumseh is where they can that stuff. So get your Green Giant. I sound like an advertisement for Green Giant. I just know where it's made. If I know where the food's grown and made, I feel good about it. I feel good about eating it. I like barbecue corn. Barbecue corn's great. Best in the husk though, because then it doesn't shrivel the kernels. Women's legs. What? All right, we need to get into some stories, because I'm just chatting away here. But yeah, definitely stock up on your food stuffs. Phone is going crazy tonight. But definitely stock up on your food stuffs, because it's going crazy. Not just in Canada, but in Europe right now. Obviously with the Netherlands, and then that's moving into Italy. Here we've got dairy farmers. They're just saying, nope, this is enough. Italian farmers throw milk in front of the seat of the government in Naples. This is not milk. This is our blood. Attention. Very strong message to the corrupt political class. Oh, not playing music. Ugh, I get nailed every time I do that. Sorry. But yeah, that's what's going on there. Absolutely heartbreaking. This douche. But yeah, okay. I was gonna get into this because all these spoiler alerts. Remember the good old days when we were conspiracy theorists? Tecumseh, a frantic lawnmower engines just. Oh, Tecumseh, our fantastic lawnmower engines. Just saying. Tecumseh lawnmower engines? I don't know if I'm familiar. I'm not one of them small engine mechanic guys. We used to make fun of them in college. Oh, look at Santa's little helpers over there. Yeah, that's just rivalries. Rivalries will always exist. It's a thing. Tecumseh's were good engines. I think I know of it, but Tecumseh was famous. Famous. Are you allowed to say native anymore? I just screw it. Native Canadian. In southwestern Ontario, he was he fought alongside the Canadians. That a town named after him. Amazing. Sorry to said, but I'll eat woman legs to survive. Okay, all right. That's one way to do it. That is one way to do it. But yeah, so just like the COVID thing, conspiracy theories, right? Here are the conspiracy theories. Anti-vaxxers are terrified the government will enforce a vaccine for coronavirus. Anti-vax groups on social media are claiming that the spread of the disease will lead to mandatory vaccinations and unlimited surveillance. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? Back in February 28th of 2020. Yeah, they're just spoiler alerts anymore. So the same people that told you this is what's coming are the ones that are telling you now that ridiculously priced food is coming. Shortages are on their way. And yeah, oh, it's hot. Yeah, everyone goes to the Caribbean and Portugal in winter when it's cold here and 38 plus Celsius there. Arrive can, anyone? Shake my head. Yeah, we'll get to that. Unbelievable. But where are we? I had hardly any time to prepare, but let's get into what's getting hot. And how hot is it getting? Yeah, anti-vax LOL, right? Anti-vax. So for the record, this phrase doesn't mean anything anymore. Anti-vax does not mean anything anymore. I don't know a single person who's anti-vax. I know a lot of people that didn't get the jab, didn't get that thing, but they're not anti-vax. They're immunized for polio, smallpox, or do we even immunize for smallpox anymore? I know we used to. I think I got it. Immunized for all the things. I think typhus, lockjaw. I get my boosters every 10 years for lockjaw. It's a thing. We all do it. I'm a mechanic. Any mechanics here? When was the last time you got your tetanus booster? Turns out it's only like farm equipment, rusty farm equipment that'll get you tetanus. We still get the boosters. Yeah, so it's not anti-vax, anti-jabber. This is no longer a Jenny McCarthy thing. It doesn't even mean anything anymore. Like, yeah, I know. And Jenny McCarthy was the one who started the anti-vax movement back in the day. If you don't know about that, Jenny McCarthy, along with this doctor, apparently tried to tie vaccinations and autism together. And the doctor wasn't a good doctor and he was discredited, and he ended up like reversing what his position on it. But it started this movement of people who wanted to boycott vaccinations for children because they thought that there was a link to autism, because there was more people with autism now than there's ever been. And it's like, no, they realize what autism is and they can diagnose it more. And because it's a spectrum thing, it's like so many people are like mildly autistic, and they're high functioning in society. I mean, Elon Musk is on the spectrum. He's got Asperger's, but that's the thing. The anti-Fauci juice. your anti-Fauci juice. That's it. Camel pox is next. Here we come. Here it comes. Tetanus every 10 years. That's the way it goes. You got to do it. You got to do it. I mean, I've missed my boosters and cut myself on rusty stuff and not got lockjaw, but when I go and they're like, "Oh, you up on your tetanus?" I'm like, "I don't know, maybe check." "Oh, it looks like I need it." No problem. Not an issue. So yeah, it's not the same as the Jenny McCarthy generation. It's this is a different thing. But the same people are the ones that are calling for on what's going on with this, all the other things. I got bird, monkey, donkey pox, Aladdin positive. Who knew? Who knows? McDee's. Ebola is real. Yeah, Ebola is real. Ebola is a funny one because it's a bad infection. On an evolutionary scale. So what makes a good infection evolutionarily is one that can spread and spread really well and not kill the host. And because Ebola is so bad for you and has such a high death count, it's actually really bad. It's a really bad virus evolutionarily. So it's not bound to spread very well because it kills the host. So you'll get pockets of Ebola and it'll be really bad, those outbreaks, but it won't, it's not likely to turn into a worldwide pandemic type scenario. And that's not me speaking. That's just, I watch Brett Weinstein quite a bit. And he's talked about that on why Ebola is just not good evolutionarily. And yeah, it needs to be highly infectious. But yeah, can't kill you. That's the thing. So let's move on. We got some more stuff coming out of, it looks like Project Veritas has still got their people out there. And I don't understand, if you work for CNN or you work for one of these organizations that does a lot of bad stuff, does a lot of devious things to try to make money off of other people's misery, maybe, just maybe, careful who you're going on a date with, because it might just be Project Veritas. But I know a lot of those people aren't watching my channel and heeding my words. So go get them, boys, at Project Veritas. Go get them. But here is the newest expose. Caught red-handed, CNN tech director speaks about instilling the next fear, climate change, as COVID is no longer a fear factor in controlling Americans. And this is by their own words, because in America, people are like, what, COVID? The common cold, you mean? Yeah. People are not worried about it. When it comes to the seventh wave fear-mongering, people are just over it, and it doesn't sell news very well. So they're moving on, and here's the big fear. Here it comes.
This story comes up, they're going to latch onto it. They've already announced in our office that once the public will be open to it, we're going to start focusing mainly on climate. Climate, like global warming, and like that's going to be our next
BS.
I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be our focus. Our focus was to get Trump out of office, right? Without saying it, that's what it was, right? So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
What does that look like?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I have a feeling it's just going to be like constantly showing videos of decline in ice and weather warming up and like the effects it's having on the economy, and really talking about head of the network, like just
who's that? Is that Zucker?
Zucker, yeah. I imagine that.
Just think of it. You're getting all these questions from your date about your job, and especially on politically contested things. You don't for a second think that, oh, is this a real date? Where do these people come from?
He's got his council, and they've all like discussed like where they think
So that's like the next
pandemic like story like that will be to death. But that one's got longevity. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a definitive ending to the pandemic, or like it'll taper off to a point that it's not a problem anymore. Probably think it's going to take years, so they'll probably be able to milk that for quite a bit.
Milk it for quite a bit. Legit. Straight up said it.
So, climate change overload.
Be prepared. It's coming. Stories?
Be prepared. It's coming. Oh, you nailed it. Who said it? Who said it in the chat? I saw that. We are the news. We are the news now. Oh, I missed it. Who was that? But yeah, we are the news. This isn't news coverage. This is story writing and putting it out there to sell fear. They're selling fear. It's not reality. Make a story. Get the one, whatever will get people riled up and scared. That is the one. And this is the next one. This is marching orders probably from the Grand Q-tip himself, but maybe not. But this is definitely what they had planned, and they had said that they were going to do.
Like right now, we had an inside track right now where two stories are going to be pushed. Climate change is going to be the next COVID thing for CNN. We're gonna hone it.
Focus on it.
I love it.
But that's a fair thing to focus on.
But to commit to that as a network.
You said it's going to be like the new COVID.
So one of them was had already swallowed the pill, but that's a fair thing to focus on. Well, if you're going to focus on it fairly, that's the real point here. So this one broke out, and this one made me laugh so hard, because this is the founder of the Weather Channel, obviously a meteorologist, the founder of the Weather Channel. He tells Brian Stelter, I always question myself. I'm being gaslit by Viva Fry now, because he always says Stetler, and I read it every time. It says Stelter, but I always think it's I got it wrong. And every time I hear his real voice, I think that somebody messed with the audio, because I can only picture Brian Stelter as Mark Dice's rendition of him anymore, because it's the way to go. But anyway, we'll play it with the real voice. But yeah, Stelter is Humpty Dumpty, absolutely. But he's Humpty Dumpty with like the clown. What was the clown from Spawn? What was his name? It was like the Violator, the clown from Spawn. He's got the same mouth as that vicious animal. He looks like him without makeup on. He definitely is some sort of Violator. But look that up if you don't know the Spawn comics. But here we go. This is a interesting exchange.
Clear, Mr. Kenny's not a scientist. I am. He's the CEO of the Weather Channel now. I was the founder of the Weather Channel, not the co-founder.
And I'm glad you did, because I am addicted to the Weather Channel. I watch a lot of cable news.
Now, hold on just a minute. I'm not done.
I'm talking.
And CNN has taken a very strong position on global warming that it is a consensus. Well, there is no consensus in science. Science isn't a vote. Science is about facts. And if you get down to the hard, cold facts, there's no question about it. Climate change is not happening. There is no significant man-made global warming now. There hasn't been any in the past, and there's no reason to expect any in the future. There's a whole lot of baloney, and yes, it has become a big political point of the Democratic Party and part of their platform, and I regret it's become political instead of scientific, but the science is on my side.
I don't think we're going to come to a conclusion about the topic right here. What I do wonder,
I know
though, is
we're
when
not,
you
because
see
you wouldn't allow it to happen on CNN. But I'm happy that I got on the air and got a chance to talk to your viewers. Hello, everybody. There is no global warming.
Oh, that's why I came on your show, to talk to the viewers, not you. Hello, everybody. That's so good.
Side.
I don't think we're going to come to a conclusion about the topic right here. What I do wonder,
I know
though, is
we're
when
not,
you
because
see
you wouldn't allow it to happen on CNN. But I'm happy that I got on the air and got a chance to talk to your viewers. Hello, everybody. There is no global warming.
What I do wonder is when you see the government, when you see NASA, when you see other institutions say that 97% of climate scientists agree, do you think they're making it up? What I don't understand is how you square that.
Well, that's a manipulated figure, and let me explain it to you. The government puts out about $2.5 billion.
Okay, pay attention to this, because this is very articulate on precisely why funding goes one way and not the other way. And a lot of people, they'll argue this, right? So they put the charge out there. Anyone who doesn't follow the talking points or doesn't follow the narrative, they're paid off by big oil, right? as if big oil's got a budget for paying off people and then hiding that paper trail and then making sure that no one can ever find that payments, or that guy doesn't even ever get nice things for the money that he has that he never can use, because it just goes crazy. Anyway, anyone who speaks out against the narrative is bought off by big oil. But this guy gives a really articulate reason for why it actually goes the other way, right? So, and this is very, very good.
Government puts out about $2.5 billion directly for climate research every year. It only gives that money to scientists who will produce scientific results that support the global warming hypothesis of the Democrat Party position. So they don't have any choice. If you're going to get the money, you got to support their position. Therefore, 97% of the scientific reports published support global warming. Why? Because those are the ones the government pays for, and that's where the money is. It's real simple, but that doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't make it true. That only makes it bought and paid for. The money goes in circles.
I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to try to refute you on the facts.
That's the truth.
I'll simply say that
please stand back from this issue and let the two sides be on the air.
Well, that's the truth. Oh, absolutely perfect. But it's just like, okay, so climate change has been, and I'm glad people are finally coming out and speaking out against it. And I think it took them finally going after the farmers and coming up with just absolute nonsense. They switched from CO2 to nitrogen overnight. Nitrogen and nitrogen oxides. They switched to that overnight. They hardly talk about CO2 anymore, especially when it comes to farmers, because there's not much CO2 to come off of a farm. You've got the tractors, but then there's so much photosynthesis happening on a farm. They're actually a net negative on CO2, and much more than old growth forests. Let's make that clear. Let's make that clear, because old growth forests do not actually soak up much CO2. The canopy is covers up all the foliage where all the photosynthesis would be taking place. If you've ever been to an old growth forest, its signature thing is a barren forest floor. That's the way it works. New growth forests actually have more photosynthesis going on. There was a study that got squashed years ago where they actually said that a lot of the deforestation that was happening in other parts of the world, where they would deforest an area and then plant new trees, actually led to a net loss in CO2. That study got squashed a long time ago because it didn't fit the narrative. So again, it goes all towards a narrative, and that's the main thing. John Michelson, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. What's your thoughts on Trump saying if he wins 2024, he'll fire 10,000 federal government employees? Sounds great. But would it just be more of the same, this time pretending to be for the people? That's a really tough one. This might be contentious. I don't really see Trump running in 2024. Maybe. I kind of think a lot of people are shifting towards DeSantis as the nominee for the Republican Party, but we'll see. I mean, I'll eat crow if that doesn't come to be. There's a possibility Trump could run, get the nomination and win it, and then win the general election. If he makes a promise, I hope he keeps it. That's my opinion. I hope he keeps it. But there's two main problems that Trump has. Is well, it's hard for him to keep a promise because there's so much of the establishment fighting against him. And I'm not talking about just the Democrats. It's both sides fighting against him. And yeah, there's a lot of support on the Republican side, but there's definitely a lot of, like, the old rhinos, as they call them, the neoconservatives. Not a fan of that movement, and they're not a fan of him, and they're not a fan of what he's made promises to do. So we'll see what happens. Only time will tell, really. But my kind of thought is that slowly it's happening, and I've had this opinion for months, but slowly I'm seeing more and more people shift over to say, I don't know, Trump doesn't seem really, a lot of stuff's happening. When he I don't know what his thing with Elon Musk was. I think that was just not well thought out. But DeSantis isn't going to happen. See, a lot of people are on both sides, and I'm not married to the thought of it, but I think a lot of people are starting to eke over into that train of thought. But who knows? I don't know how it's going to play out. We're pretty far away. We're all just kind of looking ahead at the November midterm elections. So we'll see what happens with that. I think what happens with that will tell a lot about what will end up happening with the next movement. I think there's going to be a red wave through the U.S., especially with all the groomer stuff. People are just done. They are absolutely done. There's a lot of Democrats that are done too. There's a lot of diehard Democrats that are looking at the Democratic Party like, you have all the branches of government and you haven't given us total communism yet, because that's what they want. But yeah, a lot of Democratic voters are looking at it going, you have all of the branches of government, and you're ruining the show. Like, you're ruining the show. So Elon wants to plug you in a machine in your pod. Well, we'll see about that. He wants. I've got my theories on that one as well. But yeah, that's kind of my thought on it. I'm not married to it, so I mean, my opinion might change. I do like DeSantis. I'm a big fan because I am really against the groomer situation. That hits me close to home. I have two young children, and kids come first. Kids come first. The earth is flat and better than any video game. Hit the like button, yo. Thank you, Mask Face, for throwing that one out there. You're Canadian. Why would you care? Because I'm a dual citizen. I'm a dual citizen in Canada, United States. So I do care. Even if I wasn't a dual citizen, I think Canadians should care. And I think Americans should care what's happening in Canada, because we're neighbors. What happens to one country affects the other country. And I think it's really important. Just like I would like to see a free, fair, and open China. They live on the other side of the world, but I care. It sucks that they live under communism. It It really does. I don't like the idea of anyone living under communism, especially after 100 years of understanding what communism is. There are still people that want it. That really just upsets me. And the best way to get it. Why did that start playing again? The best way to get it is the Trojan horse. And the Trojan horse is the watermelon. The watermelon, of course, is the analogy of the Trojan horse because it comes to you in this nice, beautiful green package, but you get just below the surface and you see that it's commie red all throughout. That is the watermelon. And these environmentalists are exactly that. They're watermelons. They're environmental. They're absolutely mental. Is what they are, but they're actually pushing for socialism, but not just socialism, like in the democratic socialism way. They're pushing for full-blown autocratic communism. It's absolutely abhorrent. It's crazy. Appreciate the response. I think the Democratic Party has lost the plot, and I hope they don't tear the U.S. down around them. Their tantrum while losing power. But is the funniest part is they have all the power. They have all the power, and they're screwing over their constituents. Like all the people that vote for them, they're screwing them the hardest. I mean, they're screwing everybody, but they're screwing them the hardest. And they're shooting themselves in the foot because they have all the branches of government. They have no excuse for what they're doing. They say one thing. They say we're the People's Party. We're this, and we stand for diversity and inclusion and all these other things. But they don't do any of that stuff when they have the power. Who do they stand for? They stand for global interests. They stand for big corporate power. They stand for selling off all the assets of the United States economy to China and India. And yeah, they're not looking out for you, and it's becoming more and more clear. The only difference is half of the Republicans are in the same camp. That's my opinion. That's my opinion on that. Half of the Republicans are in the same camp. Even though they might say the right words at the right time, that's what the Democrats do for the left, for the moderate, normal, everyday person that lives center left. You know what I mean? Most people are center right or center left. Everybody else is on the outskirts, and those are not big groups. Clyde, always words of wisdom. Thank you, James. But where was I going? I was getting into the global warming thing, and I really enjoyed this tongue lashing by this man. But yeah, he gets into the big point, and that's the. As soon as I say it, get into another super chat. Alaska 99, 999. Oh, it reminds me of Alex Stein 99, prime time. I love that guy. Culture jamming is one of my favorite things in the world. Andy Kaufman was the best at it, and my new favorite is Alex Stein. But I digress. Alaska 99, 999. What is the province of Yukon Territory never mentioned in views, etc.? It's like they don't exist. That's a good point. I don't know. The only thing that I know personally about the Yukon Territory is that a long time ago people rushed up there for gold or whatever, but that you guys have what is it, golf resorts. Why do I know that? When I was younger, I was just looking for a way to get out of my hometown and go see the world, and I saw adverts for seasonal jobs at golf resorts where you can do midnight tee-offs. And I still would love to go do that. I would actually love to go do that. I applied remotely and I never got the job, but yeah, so that's why I never went. But yeah, I think Yukon, if there was stuff to talk about, I would definitely talk about it. Yukon is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I really wanted to go up there. Clyde, how many wildfires are out your way? None that I've heard of so far. None that I've heard of at all. But they're coming. They're always coming every year. Anyway, let's get into the explanatory part of this. So he hits the message perfectly, and it's the funding model. So there's always the argument that people who defend against this catastrophic theory that climate change is going to be catastrophic and it's going to create a scenario where the world is uninhabitable, it'll burn off the oceans, and we'll never ever be able to live on this planet ever again, and it'll kill all the wildlife and everything dies, and the death cult thing. Anyone who argues against it is paid off by big oil. Well, it's a classic case of projection. Or what is the term that Viva uses all the time? It's projection anyway. It's confession through projection. And the reason why that's the case is because he talks about how academia gets a lot of their funding from governments. And a lot of these studies that go out into science come from government funding. Well, where does the government funding come from? It comes from political appointees. These are people that have an agenda. Maybe they're not voted in. Maybe they're just part of the permanent bureaucracy and they're appointed their jobs by political candidates. More that half Clyde. What? I don't know what you're talking. I don't know what you're talking about. But yes, so it's a direct funding model, and that's to go through government funding to academia. You have politics getting intermixed in the whole thing. This is why I'm advocating for a separation of academia and government. I think academia needs to go back to what it was, where it was funded by philanthropists and you name it, churches funded it and all that stuff. But when the government gets their grubby little fingers in there, they peddle influence. And that's the whole name of the game. It's the whole name of the game. So when you have a bunch of scientists that are trying to get a grant, a lot of them, they're not even studying anything to do with climatology. They're studying other things. You'll have someone who is really interested in biology and wants to study penguins. But if he writes a paper saying, I want to study the effects of the pancreas in the penguin if they eat a certain diet or whatever, probably, I don't know, it's a hit or miss if you're going to get your funding. But if you said, I wanted to check out the effects of the pancreas of a penguin if it eats this particular diet and how that is contributing to global warming, then you're going to get the funding. That just, it's confirmation bias. If it confirms the thing, they'll get the money. And that's, it's a sad fact. It's a sad reality of the situation. And here's the opposite thing. So if anyone in academia speaks out against that thing, you speak out against the narrative. They know what the narrative is. They know they're not allowed to speak out against the narrative. You know that you'll never get funded again. If you publicly say you disagree with the narrative, no more funding. Career squashed. And a lot of people, yeah, it's a career because you need to make money, but a lot of people have a lot invested since like adolescence. People are interested in science and they have a real genuine want to discover things. And through that discovery, you have to toe political lines. You have to do it because if you don't, you lose your career and then you can't go after your passion in life. And it's really hard to get funding in the private sector, but we need to make models for this. We need to make philanthropy a thing again. I think, yeah, and you're canceled. Yeah, you won't be able to get a job anywhere else. So this is the reality of things. And more people are starting to see this as a normal reality. If you said this 10 years ago, people would say, you're crazy. This is not a realism. This isn't like a realistic thing that happens in life. But now, if you speak out against the alphabet community, you're seeing comedians getting canceled, normal everyday people getting canceled from their jobs just for speaking out about certain topics like Like, what kind of people can be birthing people? I never thought I would say the words birthing people. That's a thing. So because more and more people have this cancellation affecting their everyday lives, the more and more closer we are to alleviating ourselves of this burden, right? So, like I said, 10 years ago, you would have said academia was infiltrated by ideology. People would have just scoffed at you. You say it now, and people are actually starting to bite. And this is why this is on the table again. It's amazing. I love seeing this. I absolutely love seeing this. They love mangling language. Mangling language is the tool of the sophist. Sophistry is just arguing in bad faith. It's the art of arguing in bad faith. And don't be afraid to call someone out for their sophistry. If someone who's arguing in bad faith and you don't know the particular fallacy or whatever that it is that they're using, you can just call them out for being a sophist. And if they say, "What's a sophist?" It's someone who uses the art of bad faith arguments. That's what you can say. And yeah, don't be afraid to call people out on that, honestly. But let's see some more of the other stuff that's going on with that. I saved a few things today. So here's a great one. Here's France. France not immune to scary climate change weather forecasts. Here is France in July 2002 compared to July 2022. So 20 years later, right? We have temperatures here that are, 36, 35, 39, 34, 39, 37, 45 in one region. Holy cow. That was pretty hot back in 2002. And yeah, a pretty orange looking map. Let's fast forward. Is this even the same channel? It is. Now the map is just absolutely red. And the best part is the temperatures are actually lower. The temperatures are actually lower in this more scolding, scorched earth weather channel. The way that we're doing things now. It's all about fear. Be afraid. Be afraid. Absolutely afraid. Here we go. This is true. Climate scam. Another reminder that this is all scaremongering nonsense to promote the green agenda. Again, the watermelon agenda. To make those behind a green agenda richer. Here we go. 1986 weather forecast. And look at the temperature numbers. And this is how they advertised it in 1986. Sunny, beautiful. Look at this. It's beautiful. You got blue oceans. You got Greenland. You got, a little bit of stormy weather over here, but don't worry because you got sunshine over here. Just take a nice little drive away from that stormy weather. Get in there. Clyde, you are our Canadian version of Russell Brand. Keep up the great work. I wish I was as good as Russell Brand. I wish I had the editors that Russell Brand has. He's fantastic. I like watching his show a lot. But here we go. We got the same region a lot of years later. Decades later. And it's cooler, but the weatherman's map is scorched earth. Dying. People are afraid, be very afraid of how horrible this looks. This is crazy. Oh, insane. Here we go. What do we have here? Oh my, we're burning. Climate crisis. The climate emergency. Let's go, Brandon. Save our lives. Back in 2009 with weather, with the levels being at what, 34, 36, 31. Here we are now in 2019. We're looking at the same region. We got 29, we got 29, 30, 32, 30. Not quite as warm as back in 2009, but it's scorched earth. But let's go a little further. And now it's Armageddon in 2021. This is absolutely hilarious. You can't. What do you do to this? What do you do with this? This is how they report the weather. And it's what? It's 24 degrees with a high of 32. Scorched earth, Armageddon. It's nuclear apocalypse. Holy cow. What do you do? Ugh, what is this? And this is climate. The climate fear porn is coming. Make no mistake, the same old played out narrative is the new hot topic. Here we go. UN predicts disaster if global warming is not checked. This is June 29th, 1989. United Nations, a senior environmental officer says entire nations could be wiped off the face of the earth by rising sea levels if global warming trend is not reversed by the year 2000. The year 2000 has come and gone, folks. Summer of death. That's right. Oh, goodness. Goodness. Here we are. For the climate fraud believers, another piece of crucial information. Here is a climate change activist that was charged with arson in California, the fire that destroyed 41 homes. Yeah, when there's not a climate catastrophe and you're a catastrophist crazy person, yeah, they make these self-fulfilling prophecies. They go out and create it. They create it. Yeah, there we go. Just another cash cow. Let's stop climate change. Who are our focuses? Not you. Not you. Not you. Not you. No, not you. You must stop it now. Put the cookie down. Put the cookie down. Western rich countries that have been cleaning up your act for the past God knows how many decades. We've been making things better. We have been making things better. Oh, goodness. But yeah, this is what I've been talking about for a long time, is that if they really had any focus on actually cleaning up the environment, let's talk about actual cleaning up of the environment, because I think cleaning up of the environment is a great concept, is a great thing. Anything that you can do within your capacity and not go poor and destroy the world and the world economy is a great thing to try to do. Clean up your area. If you go camping, and the worst offenders are these idiots from the city that tout this stuff. They have the Greenpeace flags on their bumper stickers on their cars. Because I go camping, and I live in an area where camping's close by. You don't have to go far. People go up the valley all the time. They drive up from the city. The Idiots drive right up here, and they leave a mess. They leave the biggest mess. They're the worst. They're the worst offenders. Seriously. But whatever happened to the murder hornet scare 6 months ago? Yeah, no, it's just not a thing anymore. It's not a thing anymore. That's just the way it works. But yeah, they don't go after the worst offenders. If you really cared about the environment and you had a world platform like Greta Thunberger, if you had the Thunberger behind you, you could. Why are you sailing your boat with diesel motors, by the way, in them? Why are you sailing your stuff over to North America when you could be sailing it to India? You could be sailing it to China, some of the worst polluters on our planet. Well, that's because they would just throw you out. They don't care. They don't care. They're trying to pick their people out of poverty. That's the actual gist of it. And let me tell you something. The thing that cleans up environments the best, well, it's economic prosperity. What actually leads towards population shrinking? Prosperity. Unfortunately, that is the thing. So like a lot of people are actually worried about the shrinking population and losing people and not having enough people on the planet because of our negative population growth in the Western world. And it has largely to do with prosperity. When economic prosperity happens, people have less children. It's a thing, and it's plaguing our society. And we have to have immigration just to stave off losing our population, especially when you have social safety nets and stuff like that. It's a losing goal. It's a losing game because you have to bring in new people to pay the bill for the people that you've promised goodies for, and that's really what's going on here. But population or cleaning up the environment, people don't care about how dirty their environment is when they're just trying to eat and keep themselves warm, keep themselves from dying from cold. Because yes, I think astronomically more people a year die from freezing and cold than die from heat and global warming. So yeah, this is a thing. If people really cared about stabilizing the population and cared about actually cleaning up our environment, they would do everything in their power to bring about more economic prosperity. And how do you get economic prosperity? With less corruption. Less corruption in your government and less peddling influence over industry. Let industries actually be fair. Let markets actually be fair. And let the marketplace choose who's going to be the winner and the losers in markets. This is how economies grow. When you stifle economies by picking winners and losers, you stifle economies by over-regulating marketplaces. I get pushback on that one a lot. People will say, well, it's under-regulation that causes rampant bad capitalism, they say. Markets, in any market, the first thing that's bought and sold in a regulated market is the regulators. And the regulators, when they're bought and sold, they will give all of their all of the leg up to the people that bought them. That's the way it goes. And I haven't seen that proven otherwise, but people rail against it all the time. But yeah, I'm open to discussions. And that's why I hang out in the Discord after the streams, because I love to get feedback from everybody. And that's the best time to do it. That's the best place to do it. But I love having you guys in the chats here, especially with super chats. Alaska 999 again. What are your views of Pierre Poilievre? Americans think he's great. Gotta vote for leaders who will crush Schwab's agenda. So I have reservations about Poilievre. I have hopes about Poilievre. I have a lot of people that say, whatever, he's WEF. He was on the website years ago. He was apparently on the website years ago. There's a Wayback Machine that will show that. He says that he doesn't know why he was put on there. I'm guessing. Here's my spin on this. It's not even a spin. This is my take. I heard Kenny talking about, he was asked about the WEF and about Klaus Schwab, and he mentioned that Klaus Schwab just sent him the Great Reset book, and when he got it, he's like, screw off, and he told him just to get lost, or maybe he didn't tell him to get lost, but he just ignored it. But he said he wants nothing to do with them and their ilk. My impression is that the World Economic Forum is proactive in putting people on their list of people that have their backing. The reason why I think they would do that is and put political people in positions of power on their website, even without their permission, is a selfish thing, because they want to get more revenue from billionaires. They want to show that they have more influence that even maybe they do have. And yes, they want to penetrate the cabinets, but I think that's how the first step towards penetrating the cabinets is by stroking people's egos. From my opinion, I think Pierre is telling the truth. I think he told them what to do with that, and they took him off the website, and they don't like him anymore. So I think Pierre Poilievre is our best bet towards having fiscal responsibility in Canada. Realistically, I like the People's Party of Canada. I like them a lot. Are they electable? Good question. We have a lot at stake for vote splitting. It's a tough one, and I'd like to see more arguments. I'd like to see people. I would like people from the People's Party to come in and convince me. Come on the show. You're welcome. Come on. I'll have a conversation public in front of everybody. Come in and convince me of why it's not vote splitting to vote for the People's Party. But don't get me wrong. There are reasons why the People's Party could work in some constituencies, in some districts. So if you were able to convince a disaffected NDP area to vote for the People's Party instead, that always voted NDP and will never vote conservative, or always voted liberal but will never ever vote conservative because their constituency is completely vehemently opposed to the conservatives, what's the harm in campaigning for that? Absolutely. So, I mean, I think it's a multifaceted issue, and I think that there's different solutions depending on different things. We can't look at the whole thing and not see the forest through the trees. Does that make sense? I think that's a decent answer, but it's still an open-ended answer. And yeah, people will say that the PPC, I always the PPC, CPC. People have the opinion that it could go, or that, like, people have the opinions either way. That the People's Party will never get voted in, and some people think that the People's Party could get voted in. Now, that's how every political party starts. That's how the NDP started, and look at them now. So there is that. But that's how the Green Party started, and look at them now. So, I mean, lucky if they get another seat ever again. Because yeah, people realize that it's a watermelon vote. You might as well vote for the commie liberals at this point. I don't know why there's a communist party in Canada. Apparently there's a communist party in Canada. They blocked me on Twitter. But why would you vote for them when you could get the communists that are actually in power already? Don't know. That's where we're at with that. But hey, we can always go to the Weather Channel to blow off some steam. That's where we're at. Climatard, a person that believes climate can be changed by paying a CO2 tax to the government. It's so good. Joe has the Rona. Can't smell us. We're safe. Just been having so much fun on Twitter. For all of you guys that aren't on Twitter, get out there. Lots of good memes. Yes, PPC on city councils. There you go. I mean, there's always a place for political parties. I really like the PPC's platform. So, again, I would like to talk to more candidates from the PPC. That would be cool. That's the thing. Don't judge mask wearers. If I was going along with a plan to destroy the economy and millions of lives, I'd hide my face too. I really like this shirt. I kind of want to get one. But how long have we been going? We've been going for 2 hours. I wanted to get to some other things. I wanted to talk to you guys about eating the bugs. It's always funny how this goes. We get going, we get sidetracked, we talk about way too many other things. It doesn't end up happening with some stories, but nonetheless, this is a thing we do. Why Europeans may soon be eating more insects? Well, for the same reason that we'll all be living in the pod and eating the bugs. In 2017, the United Nations reported to the world the population was getting too big and predicted that it would get even bigger. And this is why we all have to eat bugs. Common food sources in many countries, alternative protein options like insects are being explored on a global scale. Now, here's my opinion. This is so stupid. Like, if it really came down to it, people would eat a lot more beans and less meat. Because when economic times get tough, a lot of people just don't eat meat every day. That's a sad reality of it. But we can never forget that we live in in a global economy. I don't want to say globalist because this is ridiculous. But we live in a time and an age where everybody can communicate with everybody. Everybody has access to the internet virtually, unless you like live out in some hut somewhere and don't have any technology. But the world is connected to the internet, and there's all kinds of ships going here and there. They can all operate without government entities. Now, without borders and security and stuff, you'd have a lot of things getting into countries that people don't want, and possibly, I think the biggest thing in realistically in this scenario is that we should have border checks because, you know, invasive species and stuff like that can come through. And I think that's very important that we stop invasive species from taking over ecologies and things like that. But we live in a time when we don't need a government to rule us when it comes to the economy and feeding ourselves and getting ourselves clothes and all of these things. And in fact, they're just a hindrance on all of these things. Government has responsibilities. I'm not a anarchist. I've dabbled down that road, but I'm not an anarchist. I'm definitely a small government-minded person. I think government does have a role, but I don't believe it has the role, certain roles that it takes. But one thing we can never forget, and I think this should be the takeaway for this evening, is that the government is the cause of our entire infrastructure problem, our infrastructure breakdown right now. They are trying to take over the world in the stupid pinky in the brain fashion. We've got Dr. Evil at the helm trying to take over the world. They are the issue. People want to trade with each other. Farmers want to grow food. People want to buy that food. There are global supply chains that can work without them. And we really need to step in and say, you guys are insane. You're causing all this trouble. Not these fear things, not this stuff. This is all just a way for them to try to take control. The world is becoming decentralized. And it's just like the days when the printing press was invented and the church lost their control over being able to tell people what the word of God was. Whether you're religious or whatever, this has nothing to do with that per se. It has everything to do with the religious institution having control over the people. And when the printing press was made, they tried their best to keep that under wraps. And then people found out about it. They learned about what the technology was. They learned how to make it and recreate it and duplicate it and make available the written word of God, right? That, again, whether you're religious or not, this is what people wanted to read because people were controlled with what the translation of that text was. And when they found out that they couldn't be controlled, that couldn't be the means of controlling anymore, they moved on. And we're at a precipice now where decentralization and world economies without leadership are available. Now, I still believe that there are reasonable needs for government and for, like I said, about invasive species with trade and all that stuff. There are issues, but we're at a time where decentralization is a real possibility, and we could move into a world where we don't need the Klaus Schwabs, we don't need the Rutts, we don't need the Trudeaus, we don't need these people. They're clamoring for power that we have. We hold that power. And we just don't, most people don't realize this yet. We don't need them. And I think this should be the big takeaway from this stream because I feel really inspired by it. And I want everyone to know moving into this weekend, you're going to be watching a lot of live streams. You'll be possibly out on the streets yourselves, going out and talking to people. And I think this is a message that can really rally people together, that it's not, we only have our chains to lose. Who was that said that? I think that was MLK. We only have our chains to lose. And fear is what guides us at this moment. We don't need to be afraid. We can move forward and take every step with stride and move towards making new bridges and building new communities, online communities, communication with people in other countries, across oceans, across borders, and be able to trade freely with these people. Because I believe that the market economy is what's going to pull us out of this, and the market economy is what's being stifled at the moment. And I really sincerely, truly believe that. And I think the Dutch are doing things great right now because they're bypassing supermarkets and they're going directly to the people who want to buy the food. And what's going to happen from this? Amazing things, interesting things take place during times like this, because entrepreneurs are the most amazing people out there. And they're everybody. They're you and me. They're everybody that just sees a thing that they can do in a marketplace that becomes available. When the supermarkets no longer work in the Netherlands, they're opening up farmers markets. Now, not everybody can make it out to the farmers market, so some people might start doing delivery services for people who can't make it there, and bring them stuff. And this is how the free market works. Exactly. Free market, not government controlled markets. This is what the free market is. And this is what people rail about when they say the free market. Don't let them do that. Don't let them rail on the free market. You say, what, the free market? Like, what, my daughter's lemonade stand? Is that what you're talking about? You want to regulate that? Because essentially the free market is when people freely buy and sell with each other. So that's the takeaway I want to give for tonight's stream. I think we've had a great time tonight. Holy cow, a ton of you are still in the chat. Don't forget, hey, I go to Discord after every stream. We hang out in the Discord, and everyone can voice their opinions. Go hang out there. The link is in the description down below me. You can get in there, and I'm just seeing the chat. You guys are awesome. Get into the Discord. We'll hang out, have a couple of wobbly pops, and enjoy the rest of this evening together. Of course, super chats at the end to keep it going a little bit further. G Meister, $10 super chat. Protest kit, megaphone, 2 noisemakers from Canadian Tire, 2 flags, train horn installed on our 2014 Ford Escape. Amazing, amazing. Don't get one of those exorbitant tickets for excessive noise. But yeah, definitely get out there. Be peaceful as always, but show that you have support for those Dutch farmers, for the Canadian farmers, for the marketplace in general. Let the world know that we don't need these leaders. Alaska, thank you from Alaska. Thank you, Clyde from Alaska. Cheers, appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yeah, don't forget, join the Discord. Lots of cool people over there having great chats all the time. And don't forget to check out War Campaign. I put out a special message for the War Campaign. He's going to be putting that on his live stream coming up tomorrow, so be sure to be tuning into that if you're going to be on the interwebs, if you're going to be out there in the ether checking out live streams. Be sure to check out him, of course, one of my favorites, live from the shed, Dave. He'll be out there live streaming as well, amongst many others that I haven't mentioned right now or I'm forgetting. Don't shoot me, guys, but that's the thing we're gonna do. So let's all head over to the Discord and have some wobbly pops together. And for those watching later, join the Discord anyway, even though we're not there like live now. Anyway, have a great one and keep on